Who's got it better than us?
Hello and welcome to Wolverines Weekly Season 2. It's official. I am back. It feels so good to be back here with you guys and discussing Michigan football at its best. So, this week is Hawaii week. Well, it's back to work, boys. Hawaii did play California in Australia last week and lost 51-31. But don't think they're a bad team. They showed definitely a lot of promise, scoring 31 on a pretty good Bears defense. So they're not a bad team. Like Harbaugh said in his press conference, when Michigan is good, you can't beat us. But when we aren't clicking, we're susceptible to losing. And I think if we aren't clicking on Saturday, we are definitely susceptible to losing to this team. I mean, they're a good team. People are underestimating Hawaii. And I think they're overestimating Michigan. And coming from a Michigan fan, you know that's real. I do think that we're going to absolutely destroy them. Don't get me wrong. I think we're going to absolutely destroy them. However, don't think Hawaii won't make it very hard for us to actually score. Now, do I think I could be wrong? Of course I could be wrong. We could absolutely blow them out of the water with no contest. I'm just, as my own self, I think that we cannot underestimate Hawaii this much. They showed promise. Maybe not as much as promise as Michigan does, but still, they showed promise. Now let's get into score predictions. I always do a score prediction, and I'm going to do one here. Again, it's going to continue to be the tradition here on Wolverines Weekly. So my score for this week, excuse the squeaking chair, is 45-3. Michigan, of course. I think that Shane Moss is going to play the entire first quarter because we're already going to be up by so much, so they're just going to put him in. That's what I think is going to happen. Am I probably wrong? Yeah, maybe, but that's my bold prediction for this week. That is my bold. Going out there, I was trying to make the boldest predictions because you never know. But if I'm going with the more average, let's say maybe like 35-10, something like that, 35-3, somewhere in that range, which, that's probably what's going to happen. Now, am I hoping mine does? Yes, but I'm guessing probably around those lines, So I got a new segment on the show I'm going to start doing. I'm going to call it Question Time. That's when I ask you guys to ask me questions on my Instagram and on my Twitter. You ask me them, and then I answer them for you, with my opinion. Let's get into it. So, the first question that we're going to be looking at are from Instagram. So, user STJ515 asked me, who do you think will be the starting quarterback? I'm going to say Spate. Spate? I can never remember. I think it's Wilton Spate. Yeah. I think he's going to be our starting quarterback. I think, sure, O'Korn has more experience because he is a senior and he's played in more games over at Houston. But I think that from what I've been hearing and from what I've been seeing and all that, I think Spate has proved himself as a leader during camp. So I'm saying Wilton Spate on that. TRINCR1, Trink01, on Instagram again, asked me, is this the year we win the Big Ten championship or is it later down the road? So I'm going to say two things here. One is a Michigan fan. One is a critical-looking sports fan. Michigan fan, yes. We definitely have the star power. We have the ability. We have the talent to go Big Ten and win it. Go to the playoffs, win it. Championship, win it. I think we're going to shock the world. No doubt. This is me as a Michigan fan. As in what I actually believe. Now, if I look at statistics as a college football fan, Michigan could make it to the playoffs. To the Big Ten championship. And if they do, they might lose. They probably will lose. But that's statistically. Now, in what we believe as a Michigan fan base, and is what I believe myself too, we can do it. There's only a few teams that even come close to us. Who challenge us. So, I think we got this. I think this is our year, time to shock the world. Next, Bryant7 on Instagram asked me, who do you think is going to be the biggest impact player overall? Overall, Jabril Peppers. not even a contest. I'm happy you said overall, because if you say defense, you make the argument for like the entire defense. You say offense, you can make the argument for the entire offense. But overall, it's going to be Jabril, because he's playing offense, defense, special teams. He does everything. He's Mr. Pocket Knife. Or Swiss Army Knife. Why not Mr. Pocket Knife? Simply BJ24 asked me, who is the best defensive back on the Wolverines? Jordan Lewis is no-fly zone. And his, I guess, greatness comes to where if he breaks up a few passes, then the offense will stop throwing to at him, and they're going to start throwing to our other corners, which are still a bad idea. I mean, Channing's dribbling. Delano Hill, I think, is a safety, though. Now I'm not going to be able to name any. Yes, I cannot name any off the top of my head right now, of course. But, you know, it's like these guys are going to be shut down also. I mean, Channing's dribbling had an amazing season. Lewis had an amazing season. So you don't want to throw at these guys, so you're going to throw at other guys. So I think the best defensive back is Jordan Lewis. H4768 asked me, will Jehu Cheston and Amar Darbo each have 1,000-yard seasons, and will Davion Smith get 1,000 yards rushing? Yes, no, yes. In that order. Jehu, I think, is going to continue to be our main target, and with his speed and athleticism, he can pull in that 1,000 yards needed. But I think with Amara, because that spot is almost going to have so many new challenges, and Harwell already said that he's going to play a lot of freshmen. And, you know, we have Eddie McDoom in that position as a freshman, and then we have guys who have a little bit more skill, or not more skill, I mean more time here at Michigan, like Mo Ways, Drake Harris, Grant Perry. I think those guys are going to almost take the spotlight away from Darbo. Prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. I love Amar Darbo. He's an amazing Michigan man and a receiver. So I want him to prove me wrong and get that 1,000 yards. And then Davion Smith, I think, is just a Marshawn Lynch in disguise and is going to get 1,000 yards rushing in the first game. Just kidding. I do think he's going to get 1,000 yards rushing, though. And then Matt B35 asked me, can Michigan survive the tough road schedule unbeaten? Definitely. If Michigan is clicking and we got the time and the effort, I mean, not the time, and the effort and the blood, sweat, and the tears, and we put everything into ourselves, we can go undefeated, no doubt. Our biggest games, we should go undefeated at home. No question about it. And I think the only way we'll go unbeaten on our away schedule is, our biggest challenge is Ohio State. Iowa and Ohio State. That's it. Michigan State in the bag. Rutgers in the bag. No problems. It's Iowa and Ohio State, and those games are so close to each other that it's going to be tough. But I think if we pull out a win at Iowa, which is reasonable, that we'll have the confidence to beat Ohio State. Which, I think we can definitely do, because I don't know who they have. I couldn't tell you. Is JT Barrett still their quarterback? Maybe. I don't remember. I don't pay attention to them. Now, moving on to Twitter. I only got one question on here. From David No. Who was my breakout player this year? My breakout player this year for, just, I guess in general, is Taco Charlton. From Taco, I know what you're thinking. He's a good player. What are you saying, breakout? When people talk about the Michigan defense, their mind goes, Chris Wormley. And now, they go Chris Wormley, Rashawn Gary, who hasn't even played a snap. But this is what people's minds who aren't a Michigan fan go to. They don't know about Taco Charlton. They don't know what he's capable of. So I think once we show him what he's capable of, he's going to play amazing. I think he's going to do great this year. I'm thinking around 4.5, 5 sacks, bunch of tackles for a loss, and a fumble recovery for my man, Taco Time. So that was question, guys. That was question time, guys. I hope you liked it. I'm going to start doing this. So, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and that subscribe. It keeps you up to date with what I'm doing. And also, my social medias. You got to watch these. Instagram, U of M Graphics. Put the name down there. Amazing designs, in my opinion, done by myself and other Michigan news. Twitter is not so much of design, same name, but more or less just Michigan. It's all Michigan-based. And then my Snapchat, which I have not made yet, but I'm making today, and that'll be down in the description. So add me on Snapchat, watch some live game stuff, because I'll be at the game tomorrow. Thank you, and as always, go blue.